All right, guys. So our penultimate topics here. This is a bit of a mismatch of three Star Wars related stories here, like kind of like news bits that I found were kind of interesting here. One in particular that kind of leads into the news of the KOTOR game that the KOTOR remake that we talked about. I think it was last week. There was a comment in the article that kind of said that they were looking to, with the KOTOR remake, the Knights of the Old Republic remake, that they're trying to bring some stuff from that era into current Star Wars canon, which is very vague, and it's kind of just like pure speculation in a lot of ways because none of this has really been confirmed by like Disney or Lucasfilm or anything. But it causes a lot of speculation, at least for me, and fans of, Knights of the Old Republic, and those characters and everything too. But there's a new article here coming out that kind of further suggests that they are looking to do some stuff with those characters. And this article in particular is referencing Darth Revan, which he's my favorite Star Wars character, canon or not. He's the coolest. And they're saying, at least with these reports here, these rumors, if you will, that he may be making an appearance in the Acolyte series, the upcoming Disney Plus Acolyte series, and he might be. They're saying in that show he may just be like come up in like hologram form rather or something. So maybe he appears from like a Sith holocron. Hell, it could even be a Jedi holocron because he kind of played both sides. So you never really know. But then there are a couple quotes here that are kind of interesting. So they go on to say, like, if you're a fan of Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Revan will be coming back into canon very soon and something Disney related. And then there's going to be a big push for Sith characters post Mandalorian. That's going to be Disney's big Disney Plus slate, starting with the Acolyte, which I find kind of interesting. And then obviously the timeline won't match up, but I know for sure there is concept art out there of Revan in hologram, which I believe is for the Acolyte. It will kind of tease his own series eventually. So there's lots of different kind of takes right now about what they're doing with the Old Republic, because we have the first rumors essentially that they're remaking KOTOR and they're looking to kind of modernize the canon in a lot of ways for it, is what it kind of sounds like. Because based on like the story about the remake of the game, it almost seemed like they were gonna maybe set it in a different time period to maybe, like I think John even mentioned like maybe they'll be kind of retooling everything, at least timeline wise, to make all this stuff fit in during the High Republic era. I hope they don't do that, but nevertheless, they very well may. I don't know if we've had confirmation of when the Acolyte takes place. I think it actually takes place towards, now that I'm remembering, I think they announced that it's going to be taking place towards the end of the High Republic era. So I don't know. If you're thinking that they could be bringing this KOTOR timeline in and kind of meshing it in with the High Republic era, it does kind of make sense then at that point for this Revan hologram to appear in the Acolyte. But we'll just have to wait and kind of see. I still hope that they keep it 3,000 plus years apart and just stay true to the old story, because I think it's much cooler, especially if they're going to actually make like a Revan series or something. When you're set that far back, you don't have to worry about anything affecting the current modern timeline. It just gives you a lot more freedom. So I don't know. I hope they keep it back. That's just me though. Then there's some news here that there's a Mandalorian game, presumably here for like PC, Xbox, the new Xbox, and the PS5 and everything, which would make sense if they're developing that, especially now that we have the Star Wars gaming license is opened up to more than just EA now. So, and they had a old bounty hunter game back in the day on like GameCube era, and you were like Django Fett. I think you were Django, right?
It's a good game, yeah.
Yeah, they had that game. So I mean, it would make sense for them to make another Mandalorian bounty hunter esque style game. They've kind of done it before. Mandalorian's popping off, so why would you not? So I mean, that could be kind of cool. And then this other article here, Ewan McGregor kind of mentioned in a interview that, and this was kind of like an obvious one in my opinion, but felt like adding it in here. But they're going to be using stagecraft essentially for this show, just like they are for like all their Disney Plus shows now. Presumably, and we just recently found out that even Thor 4, so they're going to be using the stagecraft technology that Mandalorian has been using. So which makes sense. It's all the home of Disney. So, and it's great technology. So I don't see why they wouldn't use it. But it looks like we got confirmation from Ewan here that it's going to be carrying over into his Obi-Wan series. So I don't know, expect the same kind of realistic looking scenery and everything that you see in The Mandalorian, the cool effects that's going to happen in Obi-Wan too. So that's exciting. And so it's not going to look, like the prequels, which again, kind of obvious. We're like, 20 years later now. There's really no reason for it to look like the prequels. So either way, we got confirmation of that. So Rick, out of all the things that we usually talk about on the show, Star Wars is what you're most interested in. So what do you think about this stuff here? Is there any of these free Star Wars topics that got you excited? Any input on that?
Well, I know people have always talked about making Revan into like a live action character, but he's not technically canon, is he?
He is technically canon right now
Right now.
because it depends on what you want to think. Because I've said this before, and this is what I kind of hate where Lucasfilm's gone with and Disney has gone with canon on their end, because they say that anything that happens in the comics or the books and all this stuff since Disney took over is canon. But it's only canon if it doesn't contradict what happens in the movies.
Yeah.
Ergo, nothing but the movies is truly canon. Like, that's what that really means.
Yeah.
So, the most recent thing that technically canonized Darth Revan was in I believe it was the Rise of Skywalker Encyclopedia or Visual Dictionary. It was one of the books. I think it was a Visual Dictionary. It references those Sith acolytes that were like there in the temple.
Yeah.
There was something in there that
I think it was a statue.
what?
There's a statue of like the Sith Lords, like when.
Oh, but yeah, he wasn't in that. It was just referencing that there were these like Revan acolytes. And like
I remember.
it said in the Visual Dictionary that like these acolytes like followed the beliefs of Darth Revan or something along those lines. So that was the only thing that has like truly canonized Revan in current Star Wars, but it was just kind of a one-off line saying that there were followers of Revan essentially. Prior to that, he was going to make an appearance in the Clone Wars, where in the same vein that Darth Bane made an appearance when Yoda went to that temple, Revan was going to appear as like in that same fashion, but that never happened. So either way,
I think it'd be cool though. Revan's a cool character. He's an interesting one too, and the Acolyte has me excited. Like, I think it's cool that they're kind of exploring that darker side of Star Wars, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yep, well, that's my thing. Take this however you want, but all the Sith characters are my favorite characters in Star Wars.
Because you're evil.
Maybe. I don't know. But Revan's not really evil.
No.
Like,
no.
I mean, he's actually kind of like a good guy. Yeah. Like, he is a good guy. Like, he's kind of like a dude who just realized, you know what, I could be a lot better off if I just learned how to do this dark side stuff too. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like, yeah, he may have killed some people along the way, but still.
In Star Wars, that's nothing.
Yeah, like in the end, he was still a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was a Jedi, and then he learned the dark side, and then he came back to the light side. That's what I was saying. He plays both sides of the field. Like,
right.
And it's not like it was all just to like better himself more so than like world domination, like Malik, Malik was like went truly evil, or Revan just kind of was a lot more gray. Like, leaned a little bit more evil than like Ahsoka in the gray Jedi kind of field, but like either way, Revan's the coolest dude. So I mean, if they actually make a series, which I don't really think they would make a series, I think it'd be better suited for like a movie. Because I mean, it's Revan, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like if they were gonna, at least in my opinion,
a Knights of the Old Republic movie would be cool.
Yeah, like I would do a true KOTOR like trilogy of sorts, a KOTOR saga, and like flush it out. I mean, I guess it'd be fine for like a Game of Thronesy kind of show too. So
I just remember
it'd be good.
I just remember the cutscenes from what was it, the Old Republic? They were so good.
Yeah, the CG ones.
Oh yeah, and if the shows are anything awesome. Like that, like I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's why I've always wanted them to make just a full movie with that same CG stuff, like that same CG technology. It's just like
they did great on that.
Yeah, just do that, man. Just do that. But John, what about this stuff here tickles your fancy? Did any of this Star Wars stuff here got you excited? I think your mic's muted.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. We'll see. The Revan stuff, like, I just want KOTOR, so like,
True.
you bring him up, you bring him in, you tease us with him. Good for you. That's awesome. But like, just all this talk around the Knights of the Old Republic, it's like so you know how important and how much people love that game and that world and that era of Star Wars. Why are you trying to mess with it? Like, why won't you just, do an adaptation of it or do something set in that time? Like, I'm very confused by all this. Like, oh, we may bring him up to this, we may do this with them or that with them. Like, just give us a KOTOR series, like, or a movie. Like, come on, you know it's important to people. You know people love it. Like that's one of the things that drives me nuts about like do you think you can do it better than they did before? Do you think all these fans are in love with it because it was done just mediocre to begin with? Like, no, like they love it because it was done well and good. So like just do that. So anyway, sorry, that's kind of a tangent there, but like I hope I hope that's where they take that. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I agree, and that's why I was saying, like, I don't want them to, like, bring the KOTOR story into, like, the High Republic era. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want them to just do KOTOR. Just if you're
Yeah.
gonna do it, then just do it. Everyone likes what's already there. So tweaking it to fit some pretty much a current agenda because you want the High Republic to work is not going to please anybody. Like that's going to alienate everybody who is a fan who has kept the Old Republic stuff alive. It's just like me being one of like Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic, that era of Star Wars is honestly my favorite era of Star Wars. I love the movies and all that; they're great. But like, I mean, the original trilogy and the prequels are fine. But because this stuff was way more interesting to me. I'm like on fundamental storytelling level, Knights of the Republic is way cooler than like anything we've gotten in like actual Star Wars canon, in my opinion. Love Star Wars in general, but the KOTOR stuff is my favorite era. Everything they did with that was the coolest shit, in my opinion. Like that's just me. I might be alone on that in that camp. I have no idea, but I think it's great. It's kind of like it's akin to how much I like Batman Beyond. You know, like I love
Love
Batman
Batman
Beyond.
Beyond.
I think Batman Beyond, like people, like I'd rather have Batman Beyond than like than like Nightwing stuff. Give me Batman Beyond, like truly. Like I know I'm talking to someone who goes by Nightwing a lot, so you may not agree with me on that, but like I think Batman Beyond's the coolest, man. Aside from Bruce Wayne Batman, Terry McGinnis Batman is my favorite Batman. You know what I mean? But Batman is Bruce Wayne in the end. You know what I mean? Just like Captain America is Steve Rogers in the end. That's just how I feel about it, though. I just don't want them to bring this stuff in for the sake of bringing it in and turning it into something that it's not. You know, that's
Sure.
the only thing I'm really worried
Yeah.
about. So in the end, it's like, what's the point? It's
Right.
like if you're gonna do it, just do it.
I'm
So,
excited for the Obi-Wan series though. That I think that's got a lot going for it.
oh
It'll
yeah.
be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said it before, but I think it's safe to say that like Ewan McGregor was everybody's favorite part about the prequels. Like, I think
Yeah.
hands
Right.
down, like out of everything that happened in the prequels, he was kind of the saving grace of it all.
He was
Like,
great.
Qui-Gon Jinn was
Honestly.
cool and everything. Like, I loved Liam in that role, but like he was only in the first movie. Spoiler alert. Um, so I mean, I don't know. And then like on paper, I still stand by the fact that the prequels are great on paper. It's just they weren't executed very well.
No.
Like, not they weren't executed very well at all. So obviously, like I said, with that story, it's kind of obvious that they're going to be using the stagecraft stuff, though.
No, yeah.
I'm just curious what they're. I don't know. With that show, we still don't really know what they're doing with it, man. Like Hayden's coming back. Like it's just weird. I'm curious as to what they're doing with it, just because of that. I think that
Right.
really like changed things in a lot of ways. Like we're gonna have Vader back in it for some reason. So,
Yeah, that's one of those that also like the potential for how good that show could be is like makes me like I don't even care that I don't know what's going to be in it. I
yeah,
don't care like to me they're taking the best elements from the prequels and building a show around it. So for me, it's like just bring me the show. Like I'll discover what it's going to be about as I watch the show. I don't really. I'm a little concerned that they'll give something away that will be really cool ahead of time. Like with the Mandalorian stuff, like we didn't have any expectations really and stuff. And I think people were just kind of speculating, just but they were unfolding or experiencing as it went along. I hope that we can do the same with Obi-Wan. I hope it just gets to reveal itself as it plays out, and not like there's aren't too many spoilers that come out or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with Mandalorian too, I've said before, but it was amazing they were able to keep Baby Yoda under wraps.
Or Luke Skywalker.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah, the Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker thing was even kept under wraps. So it gives me
Yeah.
some kind of faith that, like, if they do have some surprises for Obi-Wan, that they'll keep some of it hidden.
Like, I mean, do you like I understand what you're saying about like we don't know what it's about, but do you think we need to do you think not just we, do you think the general public needs to know what it's about? I mean, I would think that if anything could sell itself to the general public without any kind of knowledge about what the plot was or what, like the Mandalorian, they told us ahead of time it was about this bounty hunter, and they actually didn't even tell us what it really was about because it ended up being about him and Grogu. But they told us, you had an idea of there was this bounty hunter and he was going to be going around tracking down bounties. But do
That's
you
not
think
even
that they
what it
need to
is.
tell us? Yeah, yeah. Do you think that they need to tell us what Obi-Wan? I mean, to me, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, that sells that show.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you don't need I don't need an idea of what the story is for that. You've sold me just with those two elements.
I'm totally with you. The only thing that threw me for a loop with it was they announced that Hayden's coming back, because I never expected Vader to be involved with it, because it
No.
just I didn't, like we've said before, based on what happened in the movies, like they hadn't seen each other since Mustafar.
Yeah.
Like, so I had no expectations that Vader would be nothing more than whispered about
Yeah.
like by maybe someone talking about the Emperor and all this stuff, but like they're bringing Hayden back, and like they said that they're gonna have a rematch. So like that's where I'm kind of like, once I got that information, I'm like, well, where are they going with this show then? Like,
Yeah.
because I was always kind of confused as and like interested in what they were going to do with the show to begin with, because like again, from what we knew, Obi-Wan was just a hermit on Tatooine ever since the fall of the Republic. So my initial assumption was, okay, well, maybe something happens that takes him off world for a bit, and like there's just that's the story we're gonna see. But then they say that Vader's gonna be in it, so it's like, well, shit, who knows? Like, I'm just generally curious where they're even going with it. Like, what story do they have to tell? Because initially, like I said, I just thought like it was gonna be some offshoot thing, but like now I feel like it's something bigger now that Vader's involved somehow. You know?
Yeah.
That's the only thing, like, I don't know, like, maybe does he catch wind that Vader is going out and hunting down Jedi, and he actually steps in to kinda get him to stop, one final attempt to bring him to the light side, to, like, make him stop what he's doing, and maybe that's, like, the big story point, like, I don't know. Like, is Vader gonna be, like, a co-star, or is he just gonna show up, like, one time? Because I think it'd be kinda cool. Like, I've always thought it'd be cool to see, like, a movie or a show or something about, like, Vader hunting down the Jedi.
Be dark.
It would be dark. But if anything about this article is true, where they're gonna start focusing on a lot of Sith stuff and bringing some Sith related things in, having the juxtaposition of, like, the show being an Obi-Wan show, but, like, the big thing that happens is, like, this big story point is him going out to try to stop Vader from killing all the Jedi, because then we could get kind of the best of both worlds. Like, we get that Vader hunting down the Jedi show, and then we get, Obi-Wan show, and like that's what it is. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought it'd be cool though too. They could have their own little cinematic universe here of like introduce Cal Kestis, but then have a show, like it was have a Darth Vader show with a Star Killer, and he's training Star Killer and shit. And then when Star Killer like is about to get killed by Vader and the Emperor and all that stuff, he leaves, and one of the Jedi he's like he gets told to go kill is Cal Kestis, and then it opens up like a Cal Kestis show and a Star Killer show, like, and I think that would be cool. Be like a little,
Yeah.
that'd be super cool. But either way, I mean, it could tie into this Obi-Wan show, you know, like we're introduced to Vader, and then we find out at the end that Vader's training Starkiller. Then there's a Starkiller show, and then the series finale or the season finale of the Starkiller show is him going out to, you know, kill Cal Kestis, and then Cal Kestis is like, dude, they're using you, like whatever, and then it's bam, the Cal Kestis show. Like it'd be, I don't know, I thought that'd be fucking cool. You
Yeah.
should hire me, Lucasfilm.
Right.
Hire me. Got ideas. Don't bring Revan into the High Republic. Primary idea. So, but guys, the question is, what do you think about this Star Wars news here? Does it surprise you at all that the Obi-Wan series is going to be using stagecraft? Because it doesn't for me at all. Like I figured it was just kind of par for the course at this point. They have this technology; they're going to keep using it. What about the Old Republic information? Do you feel the same way about me? Where it's like, why would you, you know, risk alienating your audience here of the, you know, all the fans of Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic, just to completely essentially retcon the whole thing and bring it into a different era? Like, I really hope they don't do that. I hope they find another way of either doing that sort of show and referencing in current canon, but keeping it generally the same. It's fine if you want to make some changes here and there, but I feel like jumping their time period 3,000 plus years to like the present time, quote unquote, is not the way to do it. But let us know what you think down in the comment section below.